Patrick, was 3 years in the making, getting back together for a global symposium. Really was a wonderful weekend. I want to address different parts of it, starting with the main conference and the overall theme of building a healthier world together. The presentations talked about, the Odyssey's support of regulatory agencies. There's the great plenary that talked about, ways that we can even improve the science that we're doing, and then the closing talking about community and collaboration and how we work together. Were you happy with the message that came out of the event and just kind of overall feelings about how Friday went?
Yeah, so it was super excited to finally be back together for the Odyssey 2022 symposium. I think the main conference was great to have 400 people coming together to finally exchange ideas and share what they were doing. I thought George did a great job of kicking it off with our state of the community and our journey together and showing the progress we've made as a community. I thought that the plenary session that Martijn led was important to demonstrate how we're continuing to push the boundaries of rigorous science and provided some very clear directions of how we can think about doing large-scale analytics in a reliable way moving forward. I was really excited by the regulatory session because we saw examples from the US and Europe and Asia where Odyssey is really directly making contributions to support important regulatory decision-making processes and really demonstrating how real-world evidence can actually be used. But I also appreciated everybody's collaboration and support with our closing talk and all of our little Lego guys. While I think we had a lot of fun with that, I mean, the real message that I was sharing there is that we're really at a turning point for our community, where our community is now grown. We have a tremendous data network. We have tremendous open source tools. And now we really have an opportunity to think about what we can build that will be a bold new direction for our community and the way in which we can impact healthcare. And I was excited that a lot of people, that message resonated with them and that they're eager to continue on the journey with us.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, that closing. And if anybody hasn't seen the Lego video that you put together, we'll embed that in this newsletter. It's certainly one you don't want to miss. Another part of Friday was the collaborator showcase and just being part of the scientific review committee meetings. I know how excited everybody was, not only in the quantity of submissions that we received, but the quality. And you could just see the amount of interest that we had, both in the 2 open hours with the posters and the demos, but then everybody coming back for those lightning talks and some really great presentations there. I think I really like to hear you address both kind of the quality of the science that was shared, but also just watching people talking to each other and learning from each other, and just kind of how important that was.
Well, I think the Collaborator Showcase, always provides an opportunity for us to talk about ongoing research in our community, finished work, and trying to forge collaborations moving forward. What was particularly gratifying for me was seeing the real depth of expertise in all the areas that Odyssey touches. There was really great posters and demonstrations on tools for data standards. We had tremendous software demonstrations of new open source tools, many of which, this is the kind of the first release. So we start seeing like exciting new capabilities being brought to the community. There was really impressive methodologic research, really trying to push us in terms of evaluating and using better practices. And we saw that also in the lightning talks in terms of raising our standards for how we do patient level prediction. But then also the clinical applications work. There was really nice demonstrations of how real world evidence can provide impactful evidence that was showcased throughout. And what I was really excited to see in the Collaborative Showcase was how people were really meaningfully engaging with each other to learn from each other, to share, and hopefully to forge new collaborations where we can take the research that was showcased at this year's symposium and figure out how does that move forward to more widespread dissemination and use in the broader research community.
The main conference is certainly the highlight of the weekend, but certainly not the entire weekend. We had on Saturday and Sunday a full day tutorial, a number of work group meetings, and then something new in terms of an all hands work group meeting on Sunday morning that was really well attended, and I know had some really important discussions that I think can help plan out where Odyssey moves, going forward. What's, I guess, what are your memories of the weekend? What stood out to you? What were you happiest about?
Well, I was excited to see how much interest there was in this new full day tutorial that we offered. We had over 140 people participate in that, and that was really great. But actually, I was really happy to see the leadership of our work groups in creating a range of activities, whether it be the Hades Hackathon or a health equity and education section, or a workshop on phenotype development. It was great to see how many people stuck around and engaged in really sharing insights, but also rolling up their sleeves and getting some work done. We saw actually good progress made on a range of set of tools in the Odyssey community, as well as meaningful projects coming out of the weekend in terms of shared interest amongst our collaborators. The one thing I enjoyed was seeing a couple hundred folks come together for our all hands work group meeting, where we tried to really get a sense from our community about what are the barriers that are preventing us from making progress. What are the big opportunities we see in healthcare, and what can we as a community come together to collaborate on? And so it was great to establish some new connections amongst individuals in our community, and then also breaking up to have some conversations about very tangible next steps we can take in specific priority areas that the community had. And so I was excited to see those conversations started, and even more excited to see how that's turning into some very specific actions that some of our work groups can take forward as we continue our collaborations together.
It really was an enjoyable weekend. We're getting all the videos and pictures and slides and everything. We're posting them to the symposium webpage as we get them. So please do continue to check on that and inside this newsletter to learn just kind of everything that happened, whether you were there and want to see it again or you missed parts of it. Certainly there was a lot to discuss. November should be another great month. We have a few community calls that with some great topics. And then the APAC Symposium, the Asia Pacific Symposium, November 12th to 13th this month. So another opportunity for people to come together and share research and learn from each other. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Patrick, for joining.
Thanks, Greg. Science!